Welcome to this video resource. I'm Bron, and today I'd like to share with you some reflections from a very old story that put a bit of a spotlight on a few of our shared minds' inner resources. But first, I'd like to introduce you to my friend behind me, Nellie the elephant, drawn by my brother-in-law and artist, Brad Gresham. Thank you, Brad. So the story goes something like this. There are a group of blind men who come across this novel object, an elephant, but they've never seen an elephant before. So they decide to surround the elephant and begin to use their sense of touch to get a sense of what is an elephant. So one of the blind men goes to the tail and said it feels like a long rope. Another goes to the ear and says it feels like a long fan. Another goes to the tusks and says it's strong and smooth like a spear. And another goes to the legs and say it's round and solid like a pillar, and so on. The blind men then get together and share what they believe an elephant looks like. And in some of the stories, they end up falling into disagreement, thinking that they're each telling some kind of a lie or mistruth. However, over time, as the conversation evolves, it becomes clear that each has their own truth, yet is seeing things from a different perspective, that each of them is accurate and limited in their perspective. I really like this story because I think it relates to our inner worlds as well, especially when it comes to the biggest elephant in the room, climate change and the climate emergency. Depending on which part of the climate emergency elephant we're feeling, we can have seemingly contradictory experiences. We can both sense the slow emergency and urgent emergency. We can see that we're both part of the problem and the solution. We can feel that change is incremental and transformational. We can seem to predict the future and not know what's in store for us. So you can begin to sense how problems might arise if we only focus on one part of the elephant and stay stuck there for a period of time. So this is where I really see this story facilitating and supporting us in figuring out how to progress in those sticky moments. And the first is that our mind has this great resource of being able to purposefully shift what we are paying attention to. So we can deliberately move from the tail end of the elephant. We can move to the side, to the trunk, to the legs, to the ears, to the mouth, to the back. We can go whichever direction we want. We have this freedom of mind control to be able to focus on some other element of the elephant that we might need. So for instance, sometimes I really need to be reminded of the seriousness of the problem. And I really need that because it helps kind of consolidate this moral clarity that we're in a climate emergency, and it helps reinvigorate my energy and propel me to take more action. At other times, I need to see what is going well, how society is transforming for the better, and really pay attention to some of the inspirational things that are happening out there in order for me to feel reassured and that there's a sense of safety. And this brings us to this second really cool resource that our mind has, which is memory. You know, just because I move from the arse end of the elephant to the trunk end doesn't mean I've forgotten the arse end. I'm still very aware that we're in a climate emergency, even when I'm celebrating things that are going well. So this leads us into the third really cool part of our mind's capacity, this resource to be able to integrate all of these pieces of seemingly contradictory information. That just because I am deciding to focus on some things that are going really well around this transformation, this great turning, it doesn't mean that I've forgotten or I'm not still sensing the urgency of action that's required. One of the biggest ways that I see this supporting us is that in order for us to sustain action, we do need to take time to rest, reflect, rejuvenate. That it's in those moments that sometimes we become really critical and anxious that we're not acting consistently with the urgency of action that's required. So if we can maybe be a bit more holistic and use our mind's resource of being able to integrate and remember we might just be able to give ourselves permission to rest, whilst also acknowledging, yes, we still realize that there's an emergency there and we need to rest. So at this point in the video, I invite you to perhaps check in with yourself, to really listen and see, what is it that I need at the moment? Which part of the elephant do I want to focus on as I befriend the very large elephant in the room? I hope you find this video interesting and that it sparked some ideas for you in how you might take care of yourself as we navigate this huge climate change elephant together. And as always, if you have any comments or would like to share any of your own personal resources, please do feel free to leave me some comments in the link or send me an email. Thank you for listening and for your time, and have a great day or evening. See you later.